I'm CLA, and at age 66, I persuaded that love was a thing of the past for me. I had come to terms with the fact that the heart wouldn't beat with the youthful, carefree spirit. But when 20-year-old Jake has brilliant eyes and everything changed when big dreams moved in next door. Changed? He served as a constant reminder of all I used to be, and I still do it in secret. I yearned to be small before realizing our roots that were intended to intersect, igniting a passion that would transform our life together. It was early spring forever, and the warm, golden rays of the sun started to melt, removing the final signs of winter that I was in, taking care of my beloved roses in my backyard, their delightful scent permeating the atmosphere and bringing up fond memories of the previous spring always seemed like a new beginning, and I enjoyed each time spent with the blooming flowers while I was absorbed and heard a sound coming from the nearby. The house brought me back to the present. Saw a young man unloading when I looked up. He moved boxes from an old automobile, vibrant and brimming with youth. I called out a hand and was drawn to interact with nearly my new neighbor. His head turned involuntarily, showing dazzling blue eyes that glowed with a playful sparkle as they settle in. "I'm Jake," he smiled in response. Was contagious, sending an unanticipated "we're all young," and they fluttered through my chest. Men this lively sensed the question. Stupid, but it held on to me as I drove away. The solitude to which I had been used, I identified myself as CLA and said I felt a little unnerved by his intense stare. We waved and made basic gestures that had a glimmer of promise when I returned. I continued to be acutely conscious of the young lad next door, whose presence persisted in my thoughts for a long time after he roused a portion of me that I thought had faded days stretched into weeks, and Jake become a well-known figure in my procedures and ideas. I frequently saw him playing with his skateboard bicycle or just taking in his carefree attitude was like sunshine. Intriguing, and I discovered growing interest in him, wondering what motivated his wants and aspirations was my. As my interest increased, I looked for reasons to get into a fight. Talks on a warm Sunday morning, I saw him fumbling with a bicycle tire. As he wrestled, his irritation was evident. With the obstinate rubber and the impetuous, my desire to assist drove me over the yard needed assistance, so I provided some creation a gap before he could answer. That would I've never been proficient at these things, you know, he confessed while scratching with a sheep's grin. I was taken aback by his youthful appeal. As the guard kneeled next to him, I sensed an surprising excitement at our proximity to one another. Although awkward, our eager hands spent the afternoon while working and laughing. When we were together, it seemed surprisingly normal. It's thrilling to stand next to. I grinned more when I saw someone so much younger. Thanks to CLA, I had a better day than I had in years. As he handed me a cold drink, he said, his eyes sparkled after that, "And you made it. Look easy. Anyone can do it with practice." I responded, "Do it with time." But I felt an unquestionable bond is developing between us. Jake struck a link I didn't anticipate. I feel alive once more. Parts of myself, which had been interred beneath regular and resignation as our interactions become increasingly frequently encounter, the age divide and our chats were hazy due to experience, extended and full of common interests, and it was normal to chat to him while laughing. As though we were acquainted, we sat on my porch one afternoon for eternity, a sky painted with the sun setting. It seemed as though we were in an orange and pink, our small planet. "Where did you develop?" "Up," Jackie spoke with genuine curiosity regarding the youth who had fallen. So he leaned back into my life with ease, observing the clouds as they pass over a tiny town. After a few hours, everything was fine, but I always desired to be in a lively place. Where culture and the arts were important, I inquired with interest what kind. Mostly he responded with excitement about painting. It's tangible and akin to expressing feelings without words, are similar to breathing in order to. I admitted that I used to paint as well. I was shocked to learn about my own admittance life simply prevented me from touching a brush. I'd love for you to start over in a few years. To view your work, he added, his expression sparkling with enthusiasm that made my heart skip a beat, as I realized Jake noticed something in me that went beyond a he saw potential in his neighbor that had been idle for a long time. Weeks that merged into shared times in which our friendship grew stronger. I heard something rich and articulated, hints of desire in his gaze, and that there was no denying our magnetic pole, a naive chemistry that simmered. But one beautiful day, loaded with yearning day, following a casual conversation regarding our hands and our favorite books, reaching for the same one, brushed. The contact persisted for a brief moment as well. Long, and all of a sudden, the surrounding air was accused of. My breath caught with expectation, and I discovered that I was about to do something fresh that is both exciting and terrifying. Jake, I started, but my speech trailed off as I leaned in closer, attracted by a strong, our eyes met for an unexplained reason, and he gently brushed his lips together. It was a tentative kiss against mine, fraught with doubt, but it sparked a like the petals. The fire inside me is spreading out. Of a flowering bloom, his mouth was warm and surprisingly delicate, giving me chills my back as I took a big breath. Enjoying the moment, I withdrew, gasping in awe of my own audacity and the whirlpool of overwhelming emotions within me. When I was 60, I was kissing. How could a 20-year-old man be so seemingly incorrect, but unquestionably correct? Doubts surfaced, yet the excitement of that kissed them away, if only briefly. A short time as the days become an thrilling whirlpool of emotions, I weighed the burden of what had simply happened, and the excitement of our kiss persisted, like a gentle reverberation in my head, but so did the unknowns could be. Something genuine would be the opinion of society. Eclipse our relationship. I asked Jake to join me one night. During dinner, my heart is pounding. Eagerness as I arranged the table, the considering what might happen next was enticing, flooding my senses with the sound of cutlery clinking and the illumination of candlelight produced a cozy atmosphere. His eyes lit up when he got there. Up at the warmth and sight of the food rushed through me as we conversed and ate. Regarding art and our common aspirations, our chemistry is getting stronger. With every second that goes by, yet beneath on the surface of our happiness, uncertainty boiled. He finally broke the short silence, Claire. His tone changed to one of seriousness. Was his tone of the kiss an error? My heart was touched by the question. Sink? No, I'm not sure. I stumbled as I tried to get my bearings. I was just caught off guard. He leaned closer, confused. Guard. With hope in his eyes, he asked, why? Sometimes, can it simply be what it is? A kiss is only a kiss, but we're more than that. Jake and two strangers. There are a lot many greater stakes, I said. I want you to cut off his voice abruptly and relentlessly, every word piercing I don't care what other people think of his anxieties. I was torn by the words that lingered in the air. What if people are torn between want and doubt? Discover what might happen if this becomes something longer than a brief. I spoke my worries out loud. So let's, regardless of what it turns into, make it meaningful. He suggested, bending closer to his resolve gleaming in his eyes, in spite of my anxieties. I was pulled to him more and more, fascinated by his vigor and enthusiasm for life. We started to examine our relationship in greater detail, enabling it to develop as we accepted all that came. Our kisses then turned into whispers, admissions of our increasing passion, arousing something deep within each of us. Late one afternoon, I proposed a impulsive trip to a local art gallery. Jake's expression brightened at the thought, and we looked at the artwork for hours, exchanging ideas and losing ourselves with one another in a colorful painting at the gallery's corner. Drew my attention to a vibrant environment full with beautiful hues that resonated with my spirit. I pushed Jake with my heart at that moment. He leaned in, his heart pounding with eagerness, examining the strokes of the brush, which he remarked, beautiful, looking sideways at I just like. His remarks dismantled my barriers, igniting a passion I found difficult to maintain. We had a quiet moment together at bay, the gallery's sounds fading into the background. He asked, "Can I kiss you again?" His voice trembled faintly. With sincerely, I nodded, panting as he leaned in and passionately met our lips. That was novel, exciting, and tender. I was kissed, waking a deep-seated, I had hidden my longing for so long, and I realized at that moment that age did not define our relationship, or emotions did as our bond grew stronger. Our physical bond grew stronger. After a lengthy stroll one evening, we discovered back at my house together, sharing a bottle of wine while discussing our life. The dialogue flowed organically. However, there was an underlying conflict that we couldn't overlook as the evening wore on. Our contact increased in frequency. Jake purposefully extended a gentle hand. Taking my hand, he traced my flesh with his thumb, and we moved, sending shivers through me. Closer to the distance between you and us, disappearing and kissing each other on the lips, infused with more passion than ever before, with a longing we were unable to ignore. We did more than just kiss him this time. Hands wandered, following the contours of my body in such a kind way that I felt treasured and desired. Therefore, I gave a pleasant reply, my own hands investigating and sensing the beneath his shirt, the warmth of his skin. We were absorbed in the present, allowing the outside world disappears as we gave in to the bond we shared. Been construction, but reality has a way of interrupting when you believe you've found your stride. One night I went to a gathering in the neighborhood for a community function. In general, I found it consoling despite its dependable temperament. But that evening I discovered that I was the target of whispers, disapproval of the circulating rumors me. As I made my way through the throng, I heard disparaging remarks regarding Jake, the Sting and I's relationship. Did humiliation start to creep up my cheeks? Listened to the KLAs with that young man and one woman. Laughed with a sneer that sliced like, "How desperate are you to grab another knife?" Added, and their remarks made my heart sink. Jake saw that I was upset and promptly walked up to the balcony to join me. Where I had briefly withdrawn for Jake expressed anxiety. Peace it'd blow over. Displayed on his face as he absorbed the situation, Jake, it's not just rumors. If they were correct, I answered in a voice, trembling in fear. What if this is all only a fantasy? He took a slow step toward anchoring me with a grip on my shoulders. It's not a fantasy if his touch. We can't let other people's opinions to affect us. Determine our level of enjoyment, he stated. I've been spent so much time alone. Perhaps I'm simply seeing, this is all wrong, I admitted, vulnerable and exposed. Then let's reinterpret who we are, replied solemnly, maintaining a steady stare. You mean more to me than anchoring me? Rumors, allowing him to express his convictions, struck a chord with me, strengthening my commitment. Maybe love was even worth fighting for, considering the fact that, as the days stretched into weeks, judgment our lives become increasingly entwined, then we never thought our kisses would get deeper. And we joined forces not only in our relationship, but as one learns about oneself, it seemed as though we were crafting our own narrative. containing chapters of joy and desire and freedom, we stayed one rainy Saturday, spending a comfortable afternoon painting indoors. Our shared laughter filled the air. The colors on the canvas in the room were as lively and erratic as our feelings, a lovely mess that reflected our developing bond. Jake enthusiastically blended paints. His young vitality was evident in "You're incredibly talented, CLA," at every stroke. Sincerely appreciating my effort, "You've taught me to adopt a new perspective." I said, "Thank you, Jake," to see deeper. Warmth began to permeate within me. Parts of me have returned because of you. Believed were gone, the tension between us grew closer. Our lips touched, and we became almost physical. The kiss gradually turned into something more thoroughly. We investigated one another's touch, relishing the intimacy that had become so valuable to us in that private. At that moment, each kiss and touch seemed like a promise, rekindling long-standing aspirations buried. I no longer wished to hide. My heart was murmured against his lips. "I don't know he was beating as I was speaking," replied, his eyes gleaming with resolve. "But let's just be ourselves. It appears once winter has arrived and, as the snowflakes danced outside, we constructed a loving life that combined my knowledge with his youthful energy, made me feel attracted to our relationship's beauty, and joy brought us to freely confront obstacles." Opposing social norms in order to build one peaceful evening, they discovered a new reality. At my house, as we were having dinner, I turned to Jake. A wave of courage washed over me. "Jake, you have my undying love, yet I need to find out what you think about us in the—" He paused his expression for the future, as if considering the seriousness of as soon as I see us pursuing life, learning about one another together, and thriving despite all that comes our way. He remarked, "You inspire me." His words were loaded with honestly, "What do I motivate you to do?" Questioned my curiosity, which led me to recognize what I intended for him to be. He spoke without fear, his voice full with radical emotion to take over life and not worry about the way ahead. Tears came to my eyes. In my eyes when he spoke, and I arrived at for his hand, feeling across the table. Warmth permeated me, illuminating the my heart was confused by uncertainty. "If I decide to go with this, it has to be all-encompassing," I muttered. "My words weight dangling in the air it can be," he told me, grinning. Illuminating the space I'm in CLA, wished to share my life with. As the months went by, you and I shared dreams started to develop, changing into. We pursued something genuine and enduring. Sunsets danced and created paintings, constructing our own planet beneath the stars, brimming with affection and laughter. Moments on a warm night, we visited our favorite location, a peaceful hill with a view. The city's view was breathtaking. Below, lights sparkle like stars, mirroring the happiness and hope we had discovered. I felt them in each other's arms. A profound feeling of tranquility that had eluded me longer than I could have ever anticipated. At my age, I'd find something similar. Acknowledged, looking out at the horizon. "Whether the sky gave the why doesn't love know no age, Earth," answered, turning to look at me. "Lot of love and consider it a gift, CLA. There's always time to have an experience, something lovely," and I chuckled quietly. Reassured by his remarks and the coziness of I realized his presence at that very time, that in the quest, age had no significance. It was merely a number for happiness. Idea that would never be able to restrict the depth of our bond as I leaned in to give him a kiss. The environment around us dimmed, soft lips bringing me back to the present, and we were just CLA and Jake now. Two hearts come together in a lovely dance. Of love. By letting a younger person into my heart, I discovered a world full of joy, laughing, and a deep emotional connection. As I gazed at Jake, I saw more than just a younger version of for myself. I observed a spouse who is lively. Spirit and new perspective flawlessly enhanced my years of discover how our relationship has been reinvented. The significance of friendship and love, honoring the beauty of people, relationship with Jake. I fell in love that transcended conventional limits, demonstrating to me that passion has no boundaries. When brave souls stroll hand in hand looking ahead, I came to the realization that all forms of love are something to seek to cultivate and treasure, regardless of the years that separate us in life, has shocked me again, and I was excited should welcome the journey that lies ahead, not only for myself, but also for us every day. Taught me to appreciate life's uncertainty, but also the freedom that comes with love as you become older, had left its imprints and imparted wisdom to me. Jake's youthful enthusiasm was what ignited up my universe, and we jointly envisioned the future is full of boundless. In the end, possibilities we discovered. Don't be comfortable with other people's thoughts or the norms of society, but in the times that ignited a fire in our souls and made our eye discovered that spirit's aching love is not. It is a timeless dance that is limited by age, a constantly changing tapestry weaved with every audacious embrace, full of new feels, happiness, and laughter, as we keep learning about each other's CLA. And Jake embarked on an adventure where dreams were boundless and governed by the heart. Beyond what society expects of them, they're individual. This lovely tale of love stood as a evidence of the timeless nature of love, bright reminder that life's most important. Meaningful relationships frequently thrive in the most surprising locations together. They made a canvas using the colors of love and passion is a work of art in life, not limited in time, but motivated by the guts to embrace change.